This is Harshaw's Heroes, and I am Jubal. This is the place you come to find out what the hell is happening and what it means. We try to balance out the truth with the fact and the fiction and the everything else that goes on in the media and try to come up with a common sense solution. We have had this month, not just an October surprise, but what the hell? Every other day is a new October surprise. It's the October surprise of the day. We started this off at the end of last month with presidential debates. That will be the subject today, the presidential debates, both the past one, the VP debates, and the future ones yet to come. We moved into the Donald getting the COVID. We've moved into, a new wave of COVID coming. We've come into more war zones in China, and now Armenia and Azerbaijan are joining the fray. It's gotten to the point where even though the rioting is not in the news cycle this week, we're all getting a little tired. So here we are, guys, the presidential debates. Oh my God. They say they had a record viewership for this last fiasco on September 29th, and I imagine it was just because it was as bad as the outtake show on American Idol. I mean, it wasn't a debate. They talk about the greatest debates ever between Lincoln and Douglas, and I imagine they're both, wherever they are in the afterlife, shaking their heads and going, what the hell was that? On the balanced side, let's do it balanced, because that's what we are all about here. We had on the one side Donald Trump, and on the other side, Joe Biden. Now, there was questions as to whether or not this debate would even happen because of COVID and social distancing and protection and everything. There was a lot of hype leading up to this. How is Joe Biden going to crash? What's Trump going to do? What is this actually going to mean? Are we going to discuss issues, or are we just going to have a slugfest? Short answer is slugfest. Tonight, we have the vice presidential debates. It's amazing how that's actually going to be interesting for a change. Vice presidential debates are usually the speed bump on the way to the next presidential debate. But tonight, we have an extraordinary amount of interest in the vice presidential debates just because we have Mike Pence, who has presented himself as controlled and level-headed, soft-spoken, and pretty much on point for the past 4 years. He is personality-wise the opposite of what Donald Trump is. On the other side of that, the reason Kamala Harris is getting such interest is because Joe Biden is 77 years old. He's in questionable health. He's in questionable mental facilities right now, or mental faculties right now. In probably a very short time, if Mr. Biden doesn't suddenly pass away and go into the next world, he's probably going to resign in favor of Kamala Harris, and she will be our president. So this will be, by default, a secondary presidential debate. But at this point, the onus is going to be on her to not appear to be a psycho. If you can get both people, Mike Pence and Kamala Harris, coming off of this as reasonable, sane people, well then, you would have more substance in debate than you have had in the first presidential debate, which was, again, just a fiasco. I look forward to seeing this tonight. I'm going to tune it in. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to hope that that's what I get. Am I expecting that? No. I'm not expecting that. Whether it's as big a circus as the first one was or not, with Donald Trump and Joe Biden, I think it's going to have at least one. Future presidential debates. Oh my God. I think whether you're Democrat or Republican or anybody, you will agree that the last debate was a fiasco, the last presidential debate. There was nothing of substance to come out of the entire evening, and it was pretty much an entertaining waste of time. That's going to have to change for the next presidential debate. There are many suggestions going on. Muting the microphone of the person who's not allowed to speak at that point, which, if you will remember the Ronald Reagan debate back in 1980, when he yelled out to the moderator, "I paid for this microphone, you will turn it on," and that sort of crushed everybody else he was talking about that night, including the moderator, because he turned it back on. I don't see that as being a winning strategy. I don't count on matters being shown. I don't count on policy issues being discussed unless some form of control can be had over the debate. Things that have been suggested with strict timeouts, possibly alternating statements back and forth within the 2-minute time frame, and more probing by the moderator, whoever the moderator is. There are people who are claiming that the moderators are biased, and well, perhaps they are, but if equal time is given for an intelligent answer from each candidate, that will show itself out. It is my hope that both of them actually get some debate prep this time. It became obvious after the first few minutes neither of them was prepped properly. Now, with the COVID, oh my God, here's a new twist. Donald Trump got himself sick with COVID. Joe Biden is making hay with that, which, as any politician would do, he is doing. I don't see anything other than standard politics with that. But where that places us for the next debate is interesting. One of the situations that has been proposed several times by the Biden campaign is that the debates be held by remote feed, where he was wobbling and not so statesmanlike, and where when he did give his speech, it was obvious that he was rehearsed and reading off the teleprompters, which showed up on news footage later that yes, he was reading everything off the teleprompters. Now, you can go teleprompters, you can go bug in the ear, you can do whatever you want, but if the person is standing live on the stage with the other candidate and the moderator live on the stage, at least you know that whatever staging it is, you will be able to gauge the candidate's temperament, judgment, and ability to deal with adversity from the other side. In a remote situation, you do not have that. But anyone who has seen his debates in the past would know that he is not up to par with how he used to do debates. Many years ago, I thought of the idea of getting one credible journalist who can still be agreed on by both sides as being fair, unbiased in his journalistic work, and even-handed, if one such exists anymore, to sit down for an at-length, hour-long interview with each candidate separately, asking probing questions and keeping the candidate on target within the realms of the interview. That would actually provide us a much more useful forum for weighing the ideas of the candidates than this mishmash thing that we have going now. There was an observation I came to during the Trump-Hillary campaign. A few months, possibly a year earlier, there was an election in a Central American country where a TV host ran against the wife of an ex-president. At the time, this was when I was still in written media, I described that as the textbook definition of the banana republic. Little did I know that a few months later, we would have that same situation going on here. And I laughed. Banana Republic has come our way. All we're missing is taking the old president out and burning him in tar and feathers on the street. The election process now has degraded to the point where it is American Idol DC version. We sit, we listen to sound bites, we judge performances. We do not actually get a handle on the facts, the policies, or where the individual candidate is going to go in a specific situation. We have the platitudes of Joe Biden, who never has actually proposed a solution other than, I have a plan and vote for me. We have Donald Trump, instead of justifying his policies, and an argument can be made to justify many of them, instead of that, he's just beating and bullying on the opposition. It's not a good tack to take. Every election is deemed as the most important election of our lifetime. Whether this one is or not, it's going to have a profound impact on the way that the country is moved in the next 4 years. In the meantime, Twitter people, hello. Jubal Harshaw, JUBALHARSHAW 13 on Twitter. We look forward to seeing you. I look forward to talking to you on Twitter. And let's keep having a good time with it. We get to be real entertaining there. If you have watched this video and it's of use to you, if you're informed by it, entertained by it, or just want to rip me a new one, please use the comments column. If you're liking it enough, we've got a few videos out. This is still a new venture, but we've got a few videos out. Look at those as well. Do likes where appropriate, subscribe if appropriate for you, and keep coming back. We also take suggestions on improvements we can do to this video, and also on subject matter that we should be covering from this particular point of view. Have a good time with it. Freedom for all and liberty for every individual person. We're out of here.